together, and we have not done anything else together.
So yes, we are live now. We have pressed play.
Yep.
Let's see. Yeah, there you go. We have the link. I'll give it to you, and it's in the chat, and then we can begin.
Okay.
I'll quickly post it. Unfortunately, I can't post on Instagram. I'm blocked.
Oh, why?
For the next
Why?
days, I'm blocked. Some either IP violation for some misheard lyrics.
Oh
my
my God.
Yep, that's what it is. So edit post. Okay, there you go. Live. Sweet.
Edu Startup Her Day episode 11 is live.
Okay, I'll just get started. Mandar, come back.
Yep.
Oh, Abhishek is off video now.
No.
Your video is off.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah.
No, sorry. I was actually pasting the link.
Yeah.
So, am I audible? Sorry, am I visible now?
Yeah, you're visible. You're visible.
Hello.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
We can see
Yeah.
you.
Hi.
Okay, excellent.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the burning issue. Not really. So welcome to the Startup Her Day episode 11. So this episode, we are going to be talking about the culture aspect of building a company, the startup, and so on and so forth. So we thought, who better than someone who is helping companies build and manage cultures and things like that. So we move theater solutions, corporate themselves. So they are a team of two who started this, and we have Abhishek and Ranga, who are the pillars of We Move along with the other teammates of theirs. But thank you guys, thank you for joining the show. And
It's a pleasure.
Thanks, Vinay.
for
Thanks,
inviting.
Mandar. Yeah, and just before you start, two words go very synonym: startup and the burning. I don't know how did you.
no. So Nanda, I always thought I should have you on my burning issue as well.
Yeah, the startups are there to burn cash. So we don't have cash, but we burn our intelligence. That's all. That's the only thing that we can do.
The only thing that matters, right? But I definitely have to add, We Move and Abhishek has been a great friend over the years, and he's also a phenomenal writer. So there you go. For any such questions too, not just culture, but anything on literature, theater, you can reach both of them. They are phenomenal resources, right? So it's an absolute pleasure to have you. So, and with that, welcome to this Kannada podcast. So,
Okay, so
Welcome,
thank
everyone.
you.
yeah. So a quick story on VMove. So ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ IT ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿದ್ರಿ as always. And ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ you started on theater and you wanted to get that journey going, right? One of the things that you also do is help corporates via theater. What do you exactly do with that?
Yeah, I'll let Ranga answer that. He's the best person to answer.
Okay. So, corporates, what we have normally seen in terms of the importance given to non-technical skills had always been lesser compared to the technical skills and the technological knowledge. So, for the last 6 years now, we've been talking to corporates, telling your importance in terms of doing these trainings for non-technical skills should not happen like a checklist. Now, the to-do list is there, I'll go to a checklist. It should not happen that way, but it has to be effective because your employees are your resource, end of the day. That's why they're called the human resources, right?
Mm-hmm.
So otherly to make these non-technical skills impactful in terms of learning, and to make sure that a situation demand ಆದಾಗ the employees can go ahead and implement it in their work. That is what we do as a company. So that's what we help them with, and this is across all levels. It could be with having the graduate hires come into the company in such a way that they know what is the cultural difference and the thought process difference that they need to have from a campus to corporate working, or to do the sessions for leadership level, where how do you be an effective leader. So across the job ladder, we do these sessions. That is what we're helping companies with, to build the resources for the future, and completely using theater, building that experience as a learning.
That's
So
interesting. So,
literally, we have seen people have remembered the learning up to. Am I audible or am I breaking?
yeah, you are
You-
audible.
It's a little choppy somehow.
You're you're breaking once in a while for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, while we are talking, let me find a better place to sit.
For sure.
So, in the meanwhile, a quick question. So, when you say you help companies build resources for the future, and you're helping them understand what kind of culture difference they are going to have to deal with. So, how do you kind of tailor it to the target culture? So, every company will have a different culture. So,
Yeah,
how do you manage that?
see, and that's a challenge, right? I mean, though every company has different culture, the foundation of corporate or the foundation of professional work ethics is largely rest on some of the very basic pillars of professionalism, which is time management, which is dealing with stress, which is dealing with good deadlines, and then having a better team to work. So these are some of the basic fundamentals that with largely any of the corporate ಯಾರೇ corporate ಆಗಲಿ any corporate ಆಗಲಿ ಅವರು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋದು. I think I think largely uh, when we actually wanted to build this and we tried on when we were working in our own IT companies, we actually tried in our own teams. It saw results, and that's when we realized that I think this can't be that one product. Like, this is not a Microsoft Word where you actually develop one product and sell worldwide, irrespective of whichever geography it is. But we knew that we have to customize to a certain extent to every corporate that we go, and we still do it. And one of the best thing that companies like us is because the customization that we bring into that particular table. Say, for example, if you're doing a project management or a conflict management for a particular corporate company A, and we go and talk to a corporate company B, we know that B is different than A, and then we bring in that much of customization after understanding what B wants. And the reason B wants to work with us is because they also know that we bring in that customization, which is totally which is totally different from the existing learning and development. Because in the existing learning and development setup, what happens is that ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಸೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಟೆಲಿವೈಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ವೈಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದೇ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಇರ್ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಫ್ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಓಡಿಸ್ತಾರೆ, ಬೇರೆ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಓಡಿಸ್ತಾರೆ, ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಕಂಪ್ನೀಸ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಬೇರೆ, ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದೇ ಬೇರೆ, ಐಟಿ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದೇ ಬೇರೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಕಸ್ಟಮೈಸೇಷನ್ ನಾಟ್ ರೇಟ್. I think mostly that is why corporate would want to work with us on transfer.
ಸೊ ಒನ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದ್ ಸತಿ ಕಂಪನಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಅನ್ಲೆಸ್ ದೇ ಸ್ಪಾಟ್ ಸಮ್ ಟಾಕ್ಸಿಸಿಟಿ, ಏನೋ ಒಂದ್ ಕೆಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುವವರೆಗೂ ನಾವು ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸಿರೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಎವ್ರಿ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್, ಸೊ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಓಕೆ ನಮ್ದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲ್ಚರಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಹೌ ಡು ಯು ಗೋ ಟು ದೆಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಹೌ ಡು ಯು ಪಿಚ್ ದೆಮ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್?
So,
now,
Aditya, one of the things that we actually look at is we look at where is the company in terms of performance. Our company or in performance level, what is their attrition rate? We understand the company first. Then we also, when we talk to the HR, we don't go directly to the company and say, "Your culture probably Sharila, let's fix it for you." We go in with the idea of saying that this is what is the learning module that you're following. Now let's go ahead and change the way you're learning. Let's make your employees, be more engaging with it. And once we start from there, we start understanding what is the difference within the companies and what needs to be done better. when we are working with the employees, and slowly build upon changing that culture. And it's purely done through our sessions. Because
So how do
when you normally go and approach our companies, yeah.
Sorry. ಈ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಸ್ಟಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಐ ಗೆಟ್ ಅ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಡನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಐ ಸಿ ದಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟಕ್.
No
So
problem.
so my question was like, Andre, which makes sense, where people can afford HR, where you can afford to find some place to know ಹೆಂಗಿದೆ company, ಹೇಗ್ ನಡೀತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಎಲ್ಲ, right? So let's say if it's a 10 people company, where culture is a often ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ignored thing, right? How do you talk to them, if you talk to them, or are you going to be like, oh, Vimove Solutions is not for 10 people company another, because they can't
No, that's
afford.
absolutely not the case.
Uh,
Uh, Namaga, see, the whole point for us is to changing the learning culture. Is it a 10 people company, or is it a, a 1 lakh employee base or a 3 lakh employee base? That does not matter to us.
right.
We still approach the company, we still talk to them, we tell them this is something, what is the latest trend in the learning, where should you look at as a company into the future. Like, say, one of the simplest examples, we have launched a whole theater experience called as gaming, where the idea is to break the boundaries of the virtual world. Now, dina belagge adu Zoom call al kutu, it's like we are talking to computers and we are not talking to people, right? To break that, we started off, and when instead of just going with the same product and telling every company that, okay, now there is something new on employee engagement, go ahead and try, we called up the HRs, we called up the employees, spoke to them, asked them, is this a problem that you're having? Do you want it to be fixed? When employees said yes, we called up the respective HRs and said, hey, the employees is feeling this way, have you observed it? We have a solution for you. And the HR said, yeah, we would love to do it, but what about the costing? Then we say that if the company's costing is a bigger issue for them, we don't want to miss out on working with the company. Instead, we tell them, okay, tell us your budget. We'll try our best what can be done. But we still work with them. Because for us as a startup, it's not about, the numbers in terms of money, how many clients do we reach. Those are not the goals. For us, the goal is to reach out maximum number of clients and change the way learning is happening. So build that learning culture. So with this game, within 3 months, we did close to over 30 shows. 2.5, 3 months, 30, sessions have already been done. And we're talking to companies to do 30 more probably by end of December.
Excellent. So, one example ತಗೊಂಡು explain ಮಾಡಿರಂಗ. For example, let's assume a huge company, right? Any large company where most learning and development processes are rather standardized, right? So there will be learning portals, there will be training programs.
Right.
So ಈ ತರ ಒಂದು assume ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ, what does a typical Vimove solution look like? So what newness does it bring to the by way of theater?
Right. So, like, say, for example, completely there are two ways learning happens. One is online. There is a learning that's already there, right? You have your existing video learning that's there, which employees will probably watch and continue and build. Second is your classroom learning, which is instructor led. So for Vimove solutions, these companies look at two options. One is, okay, this is a theater-based learning company, probably a new experience for my employees. That's the only reason one of these big companies is probably going to listen to us. So we understand that and pitch. But once you start talking, we showcase to them that it's not just the experience of theater that's there, it's the impact of learning. So to give an example, HCL, we started off with them that way. HCL is one of our clients. It was one of our first clients. We started off with them that way because they wanted to experiment with theater. From that day, we have worked with them for 5 years across 3 different business units. So from Vimove being a company where I want to try because theater is something probably new or something that I've not heard of, to becoming, okay, Vimove is my trusted learning partner. I know they can deliver any kind of sessions for whatever I want with people. I want them to take this skill and apply it into their work. So that is the shift that we strive to bring in with all our clients.
So when you work with a company like HCL or any large company, what does that solution look like? Andre, ನೀವು skits ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅಥವಾ how do you bring in theater and talk
So
about...
theater can be done in two ways. One, it's performances, which is the standard way few people think or assume it's that. But now what we do is, instead of not every employee of a company is there to act, is there to learn. So we don't make them act. Where there is a lot of exercises and a lot of activities that we use to train our actors. So we take those concepts behind the skills that we use to train our actors or our theater professionals and redesign the activities to create an experience. So that is where the elements, that is where theater comes in as a science, but not as an art. So that's where we are, we look at theater as a science, and using the concept of theater as a science to implement learning, we do it, but not just as an art form.
Got it. Got it. So I think so. Abhishek and I, we've had tons of these conversations where I know that your content is a lot more contemporary than what the idea of theater brings in. Theater ಅಂತಾಕ್ಷಣ ಕಿರ್ಚ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದೇ ಒಂದು perception ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದ್ ಜನಕ್ಕೆ, right? And we move only the stories that I have seen particularly are varied and subtle, and that's the kind of power of those stories which relate to a lot of things today, right? So Abhishek, how has art evolved to be something a little more relatable to everyone as against only for a theater connoisseur in the recent times?
To answer in a nutshell, art always related to people. I think it's the people who did not relate to art is what I actually say. So I think we never understood the power of idu. And see, basically, uh, and what we do in terms of in the corporates also, if you say that, do you think that did you invent? I would say no, very frankly and very humbly. It used to happen in our days of Bemel, Bell, and all the factories, the Navaratna companies that India had, and it used to happen in their own respective capsules, like Maiko Ali, Bosch Ali, and a lot of theater artists, their name comes with Maiko, Suresha, etc., because they used to get involved in these art forms in their respective factories so much. The problem is that they limited art largely only to performances in Rajotsava, performances for Ganeshotsava, performances for these things, Laddu Dhakadu, Chanda Ettadu, and then you do some kind of performance, and then the after performance. So it was kind of limited to such things. I think it's only later that we kind of realized that the importance of theater is largely just not the performance itself. It is something beyond the performance, which is which is what I call a way of life itself. Like, for example, if you want to learn team building, then there is no better way than to actually go and learn the nuances of backstage. I mean, it gives immense. For example, every section of agile or waterfall model is actually related to every phase of of a theater production. Like, first you write, you script it, and then after you script it, you read it. After you read it, you review it. After you review it, you start rehearsing it. After rehearsing, you execute it. Now tell me how different it is than when you compare it to a very contemporary project management system. I mean, like, for example, let me in another case, if I take an example of Scrum and an Agile, what is the difference between the show manager and the Scrum master? And someone who has actually done a lot of stage manager or a show manager work is exactly the same thing that we call as Scrum master when we actually go into the corporate world. So so I think the people never related to it, and our constant aim to answer with you, Vinay, is to actually make people relate, telling that your art form, that you were part of it, which you actually left at some point of time because of other things, was actually necessary for you to learn these skills. And going forward, India as a developing country, and with hopefully GDP rising, uh, the mid-level management is a big scarcity here. Mid-level managers, in terms of associate managers to the senior managers, that is a big bracket, and India has amazing amount of resources of middle-level managers. This resources needs to be tapped, and that tapping can happen only if they realize what art can do for them. And that is our constant struggle. So art was always relatable. It's the other way around where we screwed up, in fact.
Got it. ಆಮೇಲೆ so ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ when you sort of say that it helps with the execution ಆ ಥರದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ like say scrum ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಆ ಥರ ಎಲ್ಲ right? So when you say that it's more related to the execution part of it, right? For in your solutions, do you offer anything for productivity itself? Can the trainings be helpful to increase productivity itself?
Largely, most of the trainings. Yeah, I'll let Ranga to answer that because he does a lot of the trainings. But yeah, our aim is towards increasing productivity. In fact,
See, the thing is, like say, to give a very simple example, when we talk of productivity to happen, it's all about how do you time your work and how do you plan your work, right?
Mhm.
Theater is all about timing and planning. We have actually used the concepts of say acting here and the music, what we bring in along with theater, for people to realize that how is it very important in terms of not to miss your timing when you do with the work, and also how do you prioritize your work based on the vision of your company and the project, and how do you stick to it? How can you value the importance of taking breaks? A lot of people, when they plan their work, we have observed that they miss out on it. Unscheduled breaks, or like say your I call it as a work killer when I do these workshops with people. I tell them that the work killer is either your team member or your manager coming up and asking you a question which you don't have an answer at that point of time. How do you plan for that? So it is as simple as one of our actors blanking out on stage. So how do you cover it? Is to ensure that all your actors on stage know all the lines. So similarly, drawing some parallels from that particular scenario, how can you cover this? Have your colleagues as your backup actors, right? So how do you plan? So taking these concepts, yes, work productivity is one of the very key aspects we do with the corporates. We do on productivity, work-life balance, being proactive, time management. This is what is needed for your mid-level employees, who are just about to be team leads or managers, or just above that. Yeah, to answer your question so when I go on to talk about this, I can talk a lot. So I'm kind of controlling myself so that I can talk later. Yeah, so that
Right.
probably
You
answers
don't want this
what
to
you are
turn
saying.
into a training session itself. Right. Right.
Exactly.
So we have a comment online. I just realized that I'm streaming on a wrong channel. Totally. So just so you know, but I'll move this to Kitaksu. So Shiv K says, please can you share on expression in theater and cinema, since actors should be able to perform the same in different angle shots repeatedly, how to produce the same expression, whereas in theater and it's a single take. Sorry, that is out of scope. Siddhurati says, how is the response so far? What are the expectations compared to what you are giving? What are the challenges?
I think I can answer the challenges part. The challenges part is, of course, any corporate works on this magical term called as ROI, which is return on investment. So in order to prove an ROI for a corporate in any kind of a learning industry is a big challenge. And that applies largely to any learning industry. ಯಾವುದೇ learning industry ಇರ್ಬೋದು, to prove an ROI, it's different because you invest on people, and it's the people who have to give back the ROI to the company. If the people say that I don't give it, but I learn it, and the company doesn't get the ROI, it is very difficult for the learning companies like us to stay afloat. So for me, one of the biggest challenges till date for Vimo Solutions is to make sure to keep the constant ROI ticking on. Yeah, that's one of the biggest challenge for me or any other learning company.
So one
How?
thing that we have,
Yeah.
sorry to cut you, Abhishek. So one thing that we have actually done to make sure to get around this and have companies realize that learning is not like a business transaction where I invest today, in the next quarter I'll see the results. Is helping, like say, a few of our clients that we have been working with them for quite a long time. We've helped them realize that are your employees retaining the learning? So if there is a client of mine where the employees remembers the learning even after 3 years after the workshop, that means your purpose of doing this session is implemented. He's probably not given you a business of because as a company you've not given him the business opportunity. So we are
Right.
trying to help companies realize that, but that's a slow process. That's going to take time because the people who look for these ROIs are probably not everyone will understand this as a concept, and even they can't go until it's a culture that has to bring, about a change in the companies where the value the learning above that immediate financial physical benefit. So that's one of the things that we've started doing with most of our clients.
So is it an option for you to say to your client? So one of the things that you can see improving is probably the collaboration between your employees, right? So because we were talking about productivity earlier, and then we just Abhishek talked about ROI, and you know it just seems like collaboration is a big part of it, right? The collaboration is what leads to the productivity, and I think collaboration could be seen as one of the metrics, right? I don't know how you measure it, but
Correct.
is it an option for you to go and say to your client that in the next maybe 3 to 4 quarters you will see increased engagement, increased collaboration?
No, the thing is, it depends if I've actually done a workshop on collaboration or engagement for that.
Ah,
Like say with one of our clients, it's a client in Pune. They have their office in Pune and Gurgaon. They have been our biggest client for the last 3 years. And there we know that everything that you're doing for them for employee engagement is working to an extent that the employees are getting involved with what we do along with us, right? So in such
and
cases,
and and
definitely yes. But if a
and and,
client is
and,
looking for a workshop on, let's say, problem solving or productivity or something like that, then to
Target
go ahead and tell them, yeah, so the target has to be right.
makes sense.
Abhishek,
and
you
and
wanted to say something.
yeah. So I just wanted to add on to the client that we do in Pune. I can't take some of the client names because of the NDA that we have signed. So we don't want to get sued in the times of Corona. So that's why I can't take the client names. But so to one of the clients that we work in Pune, it's quite an interesting this one because I spoke about ROI and Banga was telling that this is what we do. And to answer you, Mandar, that so what we do is that this is a strange problem because the employees are not reading internal communication emails, and they want their internal communication emails to be read by employees so that they want to convey certain things, and these emails often rather find themselves in the junk folders. Everyone does that now. And what we do, so we kind of act those internal communications as cubicle theater, like street theater. We kind of act in their respective cubicles. We merge 3 or 4 or 5 to 6 cubicles. We call them out. They are working there. We suddenly enter, and it's not like the flash mob. We enter. We call like 5 to 6 cubicles. We tell them that we are here to do a small presentation for you. So we act it out, and we repeat it at every floor, every where all these employees sit. So it sums up at about 52 performances in one floor or 100 performances in couple of floors. And this is exactly this. And this this always shatters me that the concept of electronic mail was actually done to make sure that human could have
Easy
yeah, so the human being could breathe easy. But today we are in a position that we are bringing art to make sure that people go back and read the electronic email. And how do you measure the ROI? It's not again that I go tell my client telling that, look, your emails are being read. No, the employees now say that don't send me email, get that theater act only performance happen, that is better. So it's a win-win situation for us. It works as
but
long as the employees don't read.
Yeah, and also to add on to what Abhishek said, the first time we went, we had to literally drag people. Now, 3 years down the line, all they have to see is if say one of us walk onto the floor, they automatically get
they
everyone.
automatically so one of them so just to answer to Vinay's point, this is how the culture has been built from past 3 years. It's a slow process. Like today when we walk into that particular floor, one employee says that, oh, you guys are here, congratulations. One gets a coffee, one they goes around, gets all the people, so they know that why we are here. They know they want to listen to something from us. So it's kind of a precedent set when we walk. So that's now a gradual cultural change. A company which did not see each other's face when they are sitting in cubicles now kind of putting towards to make sure that everyone comes together. So long shot, but working shot.
Yeah. So I have a lot of questions now suddenly. ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇವಾಗ there is context switch. Like, there is a developer sitting in and trying to work, and then here comes Abhishek as an internal memo. I'm like, there goes my context switch, right, with you, right? But with that said, none personal experience, none generally people read emails, like they just skim through and then see what is this about and then choose to ignore those emails, right?
Correct.
So ನೀವೇ ಒಂದು ಕಾಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ for all you know, I'll get my coffee break at that point in time and then I see the content. But to follow up, perhaps because it's a human interaction, there is a slight increase in the ROI per se, right? But is this ever intended to kind
No.
of improve upon the internal memo at all?
No, it largely no. I would say that I would be very, very logically wrong if I say that if the intention was to make sure that they read internal communications, it was not the point. But the thing is that it was tried to do that way to make sure the employees read internal communication. Slowly being figured out to the concept of, okay, this is bringing a different change in culture in the entire organization.
Right.
So started with a different purpose, with the purpose now shaping into a different purpose. And the reason that this happens, it happens largely. I'll just finish. You can add, Ranga. This happens largely in our industry because we don't have benchmarks, we don't have baselines, because this never before tried. These are some of the things that very brave people in the organizations try, very creative people in the organization try. They associate with the external people, they try this. So there's no baseline. So we start somewhere and we kind of, in that journey, we kind of say that, okay, this we started for this purpose, but this is helping in this purpose, so let's go and do this. Yeah.
Ranga, were you trying to add something?
So what I was trying to add is what started off as an attempt to improve the internal communications. Today it's gone to an extent where different departments in the HR have reached out to the internal communications and the employee engagement team and saying that, hey, through your performance, can you have this particular storyboard onto the employees? So now it's shaping the culture of the organization, right from what kind of values to follow, what important messages as a company do you want to give across, and these are different departments coming together, which has never happened before. Earlier, if you know, with IT companies, right, every department sends out a separate mailer with their values. Now, imagine your HR with different pillars getting together, saying that, okay, once in a quarter we are doing these performances. What are the 6-7 messages that we want to give across to their employees so that they implement it for the next quarter? So that is a cultural shift happening right from the HR, moving on to the employees.
So in a sense, it does improve upon the internal email or the memo, right? Because for one thing, the play that you guys put together is definitely a lot more consumable, right, than having to read through an email that's probably droning on for a very long time before it gets to a point. So you make it consumable for the employees. That's on the one side, and on the other hand, like you said, there's coherence between all these different departments. Now they're all more or less communicating using the same language, so to say, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
this is very fascinating. I have to agree with Vinay. I'm also kind of bursting with questions now.
Yeah.
For one thing, I'd love to. Can you give us an example? Just make up a situation. Just make up a situation of an internal email or a memo or whatever, and give us an example of what kind of a skit. So what happens on the floor? What do you act out?
What do we act out really depends on the kind of the audience that we have at that point. But I can give you an example of what kind of
Ranga, yeah, I was telling you can give one of the script, you can narrate one of the script for this one.
Yeah, that would be lovely, because I think now we badly need to hear a story.
Mandar and I woke up.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, let's say, for example, one of the very simple topics was learning to say no to the manager. Okay. So So there is one of these cultures that's there in the organization in general where employees actually tend to stay in the office until the manager is there, or whatever the managers they want to say yes to it. Now, in this, let's take the example of employees staying in office just because the manager is there. So the script was done like this: you have virtually two different parts there in front of them. There is one part of the act where there is a girl who's waiting for her date to arrive, and there is a guy who is standing in office and getting up and walking around, seeing that there is a guy sitting there. So with the way he's moving, you establish that he's a manager sitting. Now the girl calls up the guy asking, "How long will you take? Would you not leave?" And everything. He says, "No, my manager is still here." And the conversation builds. And it gets to a certain point that the girl is angry and she walks away. Then the manager comes out and says, "Why are you still here?" He says, "No, you were waiting for me, so I thought you were waiting, so I thought I'll wait for you to leave." And the manager says, "No, if you're done with your work, just go. Why do you want to stay? That means if you stay for long, I'll assume that you're not working." Now, to break that whole scenario of telling people that don't wait for your managers, we tried something like this. And people loved it. And there was an immediate change in the culture now, automatically. The managers could not ask employees to wait longer because they have seen it. And the employees unnecessarily stopped waiting in office.
Lovely. So, and I'm asking this particular question only half in jest. Okay. Have you ever been asked to do this for the quarterly earnings email of a company? Mind, I'm asking only half in jest because I wouldn't be surprised if you said yes, we have done.
we never dwell ourselves or push ourselves into the sales of any company. We only touch the creamy layer, which is the developers. I mean, I think it is also largely that the human resources or the L&D teams know whom to target. I think they would never target a sales team and say that say no to your targets. That would be a disaster. So yeah, I mean, I think for example, not to just to add on, say how will you treat POSH in a corporate company, which is prevention of sexual harassment, and in India, POSH is a mandatory training starting from 2016. Every corporate company every corporate employee has to undergo POSH at different levels, level 1, level 2. Now imagine that you get all the employees of the company A put in the conference hall and run slides and PPTs of prevention of sexual harassment. It will never hit. That 50 slides, you make it in a small presentation of a play or a workshop. Prevention of sexual harassment becomes now a talkable subject in a country like India, in an organization like India, where we're talking about it is such a taboo. It has now become an acceptable word to speak about it. And then you can openly debate about it and talk about it, because after each performance, we also have a small interaction and say that this is exactly what happens when you do in an organization. So they see their fate right in front of them. And it's out there open in public. The HR can't deny telling that they allowed us in to show something that they were not ready to show. We can't deny that we came in, barged into your organization without your management's approval and showed something that we want to show, because everyone knows that we would have reviewed the script, they would have approved it. So it's open out there in public. So just to add on to the Rangas, when the company wants to say that, say no to your manager, it's out there in public. So it's a very bold statement that is being put through us. We can't enter a corporate company and say no to your manager without the management's approval, right? So it's a bold statement, and that statement has an everlasting impact than an email, which is a private conversation.
Absolutely, it just hit me that especially with issues like saying no to managers or drawing boundaries, prevention of sexual harassment, business conduct or ethical conduct guidelines. I think the power of thought comes out a lot more solidly when you do it as, say, a play, rather than show just a huge deck of slides that just puts you to sleep. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So and it's time that we adapt it more. That's and theater can reach a lot more places where we think it can't go.
Right.
Got it. So now switching gears a little bit about from the trainings to VMove itself, right? So idralli, I'm assuming there are tons of other theater companies that are already ongoing when you guys were working, and adadmele you thought, okay, our passion is in theater as well, and then you chose to quit your jobs and then start this theater company, right? So what were you thinking? Were you thinking only theater and telling stories, or did you have the solutions in mind as well? And was that part of your ideation phase?
Um, Solutions was definitely the start point for us to quit our careers,
Mm.
because if we had to continue to just do theater, I think we were able to do justice to both theater and our jobs when we were in the IT. But for
Mm.
both of us, we wanted to show the change and the impact that theater can bring in, and also prove to the world that theater can not just be a place to just practice what you love, but it can be a breadwinner for you and your family, bread earner for you and your family. So that is where a solution was there right from the start when we started off with when we quit our jobs and said now it's time to go full time.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, like gradually it's a gradual shift that it's not like there was a well and we jumped into the well right on day one. As I told you, we first started in our own companies, and then took the feedback of our own managers, and then our own managers actually uh, motivated us to do it for different teams in our own companies, and then we realized that, oh shit, we are doing this all these things for free, and then we can earn from it. So then we kind of, with the job, we kind of did it for a couple of other companies. And then we earned about 6-7 thousand for doing these kind of things, and then we realized that the market rates are very high, so let's up the mantle. So it was one ladder at a time, where we realized that there is some future to it, and then it's kind of, it's time that we hit this particular road. uh, so it's totally uh, ideation to visualization to a kind of belief that this might work, which is still the only motivating factor, I think.
Right.
So,
So go
yeah,
ahead.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. This is a follow-up question, right? So when you started VMove, I know this is for the benefit of others who want to start, say, a theater company or a solutions company or even a services company. When it is early in your own ideation and creation phase, Ali, what were the cultural aspects that you've learned which you tend to implement time and again? Because you've seen it very recently. How do you implement, or what is it that you particularly implement for smaller sized companies or people who are starting up?
I think from my side, it's two things. One is passion and discipline, and little bit of financial management, and little bit of crisis management. I think this becomes a perfect recipe for your startup dish, is what I say. Yeah, I mean, Ranga can add his values that maybe, I mean, if there are things that he can do.
See, for a startup or anyone who wants to start up, there are two things that's for sure. One is your persistence and how resilient can you be as a person and as a company. Because the moment you start up, things are not going to work for you. Like, say, even though we had done a lot of background work, we had done a lot of research, and then we realized there is money, and when we hit the market quitting our jobs, for the first 6 months, we never made a single rupee. But we persisted with that thought. So that is where your discipline, your financial planning, and everything comes in. But we persisted with the thought, and we said, okay, we can change things around. We kept looking for what can work. And finally, when it worked, we are almost more than 7 years down the line since we've quit our jobs. So that is where it works in together. So that adding to what Abhishek said, persistence and resilience are very, very important because your market is never going to be the same. No one expected Corona to come in and knock over half the businesses in the world. Only people who are resilient and who have persistence to commit to what they believe in have sustained today. Others have just shut shops and gone.
Okay, so have you been working with say our governments as well? Because with the kind of solutions that you guys offer, right? It must, if governments were to implement your solutions, right, they'd probably make it so much more easier for citizens to consume, say, information like how should I file my GST, right? How should I file my taxes if I'm satisfying a certain amount number? If they say I have 10 shares that are vesting this year, and I don't know how to file my taxes with respect to that. So many of these questions could be answered if the government implements a solution like yours. Do you already work with them, or are there any plans to pitch to them?
The the only problem for me, for us to work with a government agency is very crazily the government of India under their skill development program, which drives a lot of skill initiatives in this country, doesn't recognize theater as a formal skill till now. Okay,
To
to
add,
add that they have half of India's GDP coming from Bollywood and half of the Bollywood comes from NSD, which is National School of Drama, and theater is not a skill as part of skill. Uh, Now it's an ironical thing. The fight is on. We have spoken to the joint secretary till the level that we can actually reach to, and actually, our honorable Prime Minister was part of RSS theater group when he was actually in the Swayam Sevak things one. So the knowledge about theater is largely there, but the government lacks vision in implementing a solution like this, and government will work like a government which is lacking vision. So that is something that is there here as well. I have tried my best. Ranga is still trying, so he can add to his point even when it comes to government and this one. But we have not able to work very efficiently with the government agencies. Yeah.
Okay.
who can?
No, see, with the government, more than working with this at a communication level, what I'm working with the government is to make sure the theater becomes another employable sector. Like say, we've taken it up with the MSME and with the new education policy coming in. We're still working with the government to see if this can get recognized as one of the skills for livelihood. Can this train people and make sure that, because there is a demand now in the market, but there are no trained resources now. And if schools have to implement NEP, or if going forward, if we are looking at upskilling India in the right way, because non-technical skills are going to be the future. By 2025, it won't matter what technology that you know, or whatever is your technical skill. It's how you communicate, how you work as a team, and how can you handle the problem and the situation. This is what going to matter. So the fight is still on, but taking it a step by step, not giving up with them, finding out different ways to do it. Hopefully, a couple of years down the line, we should be able to.
Fascinating.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was going to say there
No,
is
no,
enough drama in the government that you don't need another form of it.
And there seems to be enough drama about not having drama on that list.
Yeah.
I get that.
they want the real stuff. So
Well, but like you pointed out, the real stuff, 50% of the real stuff comes from Bollywood and the arts. And yeah, well,
yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead, Vinay, you were saying something.
No, I was just saying before we wrap this up, right? This has been an unbelievable session, right? Like, so many things I didn't know, or I didn't even think of in the to start with Idana. So the way to blend this into corporate culture and even early on to startup culture, and then this great point saying that the most important point has to be resilient, and how do you take this forward, right? So I think that's the aspect that I'd like people to take away. For example, this needs to come in from day one as you build teams. So before we wrap this up, for startups or for that matter, any of the teams, do you have any thoughts that you want to share, Abhishek, as closing thoughts, especially on the roadmap ahead from VMove?
Yeah, so largely our roadmap is, of course, is little diversified now. So once we have the physical one-on-one session that was going on, and due to COVID, now the physical session cannot happen. Now we we have taken now theater to online and trying to build the same experience. So so and then trying not our intention is not to limit theater only to the physical session itself, because to answer this a ghost world in this entrepreneurship world called as scalability, because theater physical theater will not answer the world scalability. So our roadmap largely involves with including some technology to theater, and taking back into corporates, and then trying to see how we can actually blend. That's one of the biggest roadmap that we have, and I have to thank Corona and the COVID situation for us enabling to think this, because we would not come out of our comfortable shells if we are not pushed to the edge, and that's an
Right.
issue with any art, and that's an issue with any artist for that matter of that. So, and the second thing is that I think the takeaway is largely is the resilience, and of course, as I told you, the persistency to actually keep it running. As long as you can actually keep it learning, keep it moving. That's the best thing for any startup to do, and also have the practical things in mind before we actually do anything. Considering all the practical situations, and also your intent and resilience to keep one thing running, I'm pretty sure that any startup will hit the jackpot sooner or later.
So just a quick follow-up on the thought that you just expressed. Now, given that due to the pandemic, most of the offices have been shut, all of the offices have been shut pretty much, and many of them are giving directives to their employees to work from home till at least June of next year, right? So have you been pivoting towards, say, making short films and disseminating the information that you used to earlier, or what's been the strategy in the short term?
See, in the short term, the strategy has actually been to make it as a live experience for them.
Okay.
So, as we said, one of the things that we are looking to do is, okay, people have been sitting at home watching series from so many OTT platforms, right? You can't push another short film and expect them to watch. So the idea is to rebuild the human connect online, and that is why we are creating experiences, and it's working so far. But that's
What
been the short-term thing, to bring in people, break them out of the shells, and say, okay, if you're working from, it's still okay. You're still talking to people. Rebuild that connect as if how you're going to work in cubicles. So we are working on fixing that first. Once that is done, next we'll see how we can, enable with our work with our clients to enable them to push on more information, change the culture, and also continue to keep up the learning culture.
Yeah, the one thing to add on is that if you have seen Netflix, and there was this series called as Black Magic, which was an interactive web series. So I think slowly we are working to convert a lot of our
Black Mirror.
is it Black Mirror? Sorry, yeah.
Black Mirror,
Yeah, the
yeah,
Bandersnatch.
ಈಗ ತಾನೇ ಕೊಳ್ಳೇಗಾಲಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಬಂದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ಮ್ಯಾಜಿಕ್ ಅಂತ ಬಂತು, ಸಾರಿ. So I meant black mirror. So I think our intention is to actually kind of move our learning and development sessions into a interactive video where you actually shoot a stakeholder management kind of topic into a short film, and then keep it interactive at different levels, where the user who is actually watching clicks of whatever that he wants to see or whatever he thinks is right, and based on that the story changes and takes into different direction, and based on where he has actually gone to from point A to point to the final point, the direction that he has taken, you kind of analyze that user behavior and say that these are the things that you screwed up, this is how it has to go, and this is your learning thing. So that is something that we are kind of working on.
Excellent.
Which I am personally excited about, and of course Ranga is also excited about, as to we think that this can be the next big thing for L&D by keeping interactive videos on.
Excellent. Great. So well, Abhishek and Ranga, this has really been illuminating, because at least I had never ever imagined that there could be maybe a business like the one that you have. There could be this form of course, I've always seen theater, enjoyed theater, never imagined that theater could be used so effectively in the business context. So thank you for that, that flash of insight. I think it is extremely well. It's a kind of fulfilling to think of it. And to think that there is hope in the corporate world, and that we can improve communications between people, we can foster collaboration, we can increase productivity, we can make people more aware, more woke. I think that's an amazing thing. So kudos to you and your team. On a light note, question. So at VMove Theatre itself, right, in your company, do you guys have internal memos at all?
we write postcards.
Amazing. Fantastic. So before we wrap, so Vinay and I would like to make a quick announcement for our viewers online and offline later on. So Dialogues Cafe and Kitab Gurtivi Films Incorporated are together bringing out a literature podcast. We are in the last stages of finalizing that plan, and we hope that we will be able to air our first episode perhaps in the next 2 weeks, right? So stay tuned, and like I said, we'll again try to make this podcast as enriching an experience for our viewers as possible. We'll host it on various platforms like YouTube. We'll even go to other platforms like SoundCloud and so on. So please ನಮ್ಗೆ ಈ ತರ ಇದೇ ತರ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರಿ. Watch that podcast. We used to have a similar show called Books Budhvara earlier. So for those of you who have seen it, you know what it looked like. So I expect something similar, but probably we'll go into into a lot more critical detail about literature. We will talk about literature from various languages, from various geographies, coming from various ethnic contexts, from various cultural contexts, and we will let you know as soon as our schedule is ready. So stay tuned for that and do subscribe.
Yeah.
Vinay, you wanna...
Yeah, no, and the important thing is this is going to be a video podcast. The book podcast, the literature is going to be a video podcast. So yeah, do check it out. Looking for details, exciting works coming up ahead. And definitely check out VMove Theatre and check out their awesome work and go watch their plays as always. Thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Vinay. Thank you, Mandar, for having us. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Always. Thanks, guys.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. It was a pleasure talking to you.